Sit down.
And now, streaming live from the sunny Southern California coast, this is Options Uncensored.
Hey everybody, I'm Steve. Welcome to Options Uncensored. We're making real option trades in real time together. Let's get right into it. First things first, make sure you have your brokerage account open so you can follow along. Have your YouTube video quality set as high as possible. That way you can read the numbers a whole lot easier. Have a calculator on hand so you can do some easy math. If you have a question or a stock you want to go over together live, leave it in the comment section below. And finally, remember, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes only. All right, let's check out our open positions. We had our Google short put fill this morning, so we'll go over that one in a second. We have our short USO put trying to get to 35. Right now, marks at 52. Right on target, up $17 or so already. Our short call spread on EFA trying to get to 21. Marks at 39. Up slightly there. Short ETF semiconductor call spread making some ground today, down a bit, but it's coming back today, so that's good. And our short call spread on XBI that we rolled once already, not doing well again today. We start thinking about either rolling this one or just making it close for a loss. We'll see. We got 2 weeks now, a little less than 2 weeks till expiration on February, okay? All right, let's go over our Google position, GOOGL. This is a post-earnings move. So we sold the 130 put for March expiration. So 130 is down here. Day of earnings, I believe, somewhere around when it was at 141 or so, we sold just a short put. This wasn't a short put spread. It was just the put on its own, okay? So it was cash secured, $13,000 cash secured. Went down, leveled off here a bit for a couple days, and now it's rallied back and opened up higher. So we made $48, 1, 2, 3 over the course of 5 days or so. Okay? So again, that was just a short put, not a put spread. Okay? Depends on the stock of whether you do a short put or a short put spread. Cool. All right, so good trade on that one. That one was very easy. When these big companies report earnings and there's a big gap down, go ahead and sell puts or put spreads depending on what your risk tolerance is. Odds are they'll move back up, okay? It's Google, okay? All right, let's take a look at some new opportunities for today. First up will be Palantir, PLTR, and they had their earnings this morning. Up 30% from yesterday, so good quarter. We'll probably get a slew of upgrades and price target adjustments over the next couple days, so we'll keep that in mind. Here's our chart. Not an all-time high, so we're reaching this high back here in at 2190 or so. So if it breaks through that, it's got more room to run. As far as resistance goes, let me go to the weekly here really quick. Okay. We do have resistance here from back in 2021. Next spot for resistance looks to be 22 and 2250, and then a good amount of resistance at 23. Okay, so if we want to sell the call side here, let's just keep those numbers in mind. We'll go back to the daily chart. Still opening, we're still opening new positions at March expiration. On the call side, you'd want to sell 25. Okay, that makes sense. Sell 25 and buy 27. Let's do the math. 53 minus 27, divide that by 2, and divide that by 200. Still 6.5%. So this was a pretty big move. So all these calls are more expensive today. When things are more expensive, you want to sell them, okay? Where's 25 on the chart? 25 is right here. This company works with the government, so almost an endless supply of money for them. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . 23. A lot of resistance at 20, 2250 and 23. We're not there yet. I think let's wait one more day and see if we get upgrades tomorrow. This pushes up closer to 2250 and then start thinking about selling the call spread, especially as it approaches 23. So I don't want to jump the gun on this one. Mark this. Follow up tomorrow, the rest of this week. Wait for some upgrades, okay? Next up, DocuSign, DOCU. This is not an earnings report. This is layoffs, I believe. Looks like it is bouncing off the 200-day. And a little bit of support from back in May of 23. Their earnings are March 7th, so it's about a month away, and that will be included in these March expiration. So the earnings is right here for this March 8th expiration. So let's keep that in mind too. If earnings move against you, you don't have a lot of time to adjust. Here's our chart again. So even though layoffs were announced, usually a layoff announcement is good for a stock. It means upward movement. DocuSign is not such a great company, so that's why layoffs on a not so good company mean things aren't going well. So it's hard to sell the put side here. If you wanted to, you sell the 42.5. Liquidity is not the best. We got the 41. We got a 41.65 spread here. That's going to be hard to fill and hard to manage. Same thing at the 40. Let's pass on this one, okay? Next up, Eli Lilly. Post-earnings move. This one has been on a tear. So it opened up, gapped up at 742, 743. It's already selling off. This is a lot of profit taking. Just so much upward move. It's gone parabolic. That's unsustainable. Okay? So a pullback was probably expected. We may have missed the mark on this one. It's too late. On the call side, let's just check it out for fun. You see, since it was, at this point, it's only a 1% move, we have red on the call side, red on the put side. That means these aren't as expensive as we'd want them to be. They've already lost value, so we're going to probably pass. You'd want to sell on the call side the 780. You've got a dollar spread here. Not a lot of volume. Let's move on. Spotify. Same thing. Earnings up 6.5% after earnings. I know they renewed their deal with Joe Rogan for, I think, $250 million. Same thing. It's already gapped up, rallied up to about 250 or so. It's already selling off. Resistance at... Yeah, there's resistance back here from March of 21. That's probably what hit that. Let's take a look at the call side. Having trouble time loading here. You'd have to sell the 260 and buy the 270. 289. Spread's not bad. It's not great. The 270 is a little bit better. You could sell the 270 by the 280. Let's do the math on that one. If you sold 270, that's 165 minus 85 divided by 2 divided by 1,000. That's only 4%. Put side, what do you got? You'd have to sell the 210. Let's take a look at the chart. Where's 210 on the chart? Two ten's right about here. That seems fair. We're going to pass on this one. Next up, Hertz HTZ up 7% post earnings, but I think these are pre-announced, maybe? The 6th before they open, that's today. I think they pre-announced earnings back earlier, maybe around the 18th of January. But still, a good 7% move up. Some volatility. It says IV rank of 139. That may be true. On the call side, if you want to sell the call side, the 10 is too close, and the 12.5 is too far out. Let's skip. Okay. BP, oil company, up 5% after earnings. Almost 5% yield, that's interesting. Chart-wise, it has good long-term upward momentum. It is approaching the 200-day, and we have this downward trend line here. So you could make the case for selling the call side. It's kind of in no man's land. This could definitely continue up, or this downward trend line here continuing down. Let's take a look at both sides. Having trouble loading today. On the call side, you have to sell the 39. You don't get paid for it. On the put side, you'd have to sell 34. It's not bad. This is fairly priced. If you sold the 34, a lot of volume at 33 and 32. That's a little far out to make it worth it, though. 34. We're already short a put on USO. This is just another oil play. Let's take a look. Where's 34 on the chart? 34 is right about here. And again, that seems fair. This is post earnings, so this won't be as volatile as before the report. But 34 is fair for the put side. March expiration. All right. Interesting. Let's look at SPR. That's Spirit Aerosystems. They've been in the naughty list for their incidents with Boeing, and they reported earnings this morning. Doesn't look to be much of a big move at all, 2% or so. On the call side, no volume here. You'd have to sell 32, and there's no volume. On the put side, a little bit of volume at the 23, but again, too illiquid. Let's move on. Carrier. Earnings. A lot of open interest at the 50, and some volume here. But again, too illiquid on the put side. You've got red on the put side. You've got red on the call side. This is post earnings. Didn't move far enough. The call side, you'd have to sell the 60 and buy 62.5. Not going to be worth it. Let's skip this one right away. Estee Lauder. This is day 2 after earnings. I think maintained overweight at Wells this morning. Maintain at Wells. Anything else? Morgan Stanley raises price target today. Raymond James maintained a strong buy. All right, so a couple price target adjustments this morning. So here yesterday we had our gap up after earnings. Hits our 200-day and sells off during the course of the day, and down again today. This is just profit taking and hitting the 200-day. So missed this one. You would have wanted to sell the call side yesterday. We'll take this one off. Now it's post earnings and moved back down. There'll be no move to make. Very low volatility going forward. Okay. Next up, Tesla. we've been following Tesla every day. We're waiting for it to get down to 165 or so. I think they had a downgrade today. Downgraded at somebody. I don't remember who. Oh, here we go. Okay, so downgraded today. Price target to 195. That seems very fair. And we've done some chart work on this one. Should get some support back here from April of 23 around 165. There is support from back here in May of 23, so it could be bouncing here and continue its move up. That's possible. I would like to wait for it to get down to 165. We also have this trend line here that it could be bouncing off of as well. So I'm in no rush to sell the put side here yet, even though it is rallying back from the downgrade news this morning. Gap down at the open and is rallying back. Let's just take a look at the put side really quick. I don't know why things are loading so slowly this morning. On the put side, you'd have to sell the 155. I think we looked at this one yesterday. We were looking at the 150, 145. But today, if you sold the 155 and bought the 150, let's do the math. 178 minus 126 divided by 2 divided by 500. Only 5% there. All the implied volatility seems normal. So this thing's very fairly balanced. A little bit of heightened volatility post earnings, but not much. Okay? Let's keep going on. KKR is next. Up 2%. Earnings report this morning. Big move up since the October lows. It's gone from, what, 54 all the way up to 90 this morning. Also looks to be an all-time high, so gapped up and selling off. Let's take a look at the call side. We may have missed this one already. You'd have to sell 100 and buy 105. Zero volume at the 105. The 155.80 spread, it's too illiquid. Let's move on. Let's look at some Chinese names. FXI. Do FXI, the C-Web, and the K-Web. I think the announcement out of China was they're going to try to do some more money printing, liquidity injection into their markets. This happened back on January 22nd when we tried to sell a put this day. Did not get filled. It moved up. You could make a case that you get a double bottom here, and now we're moving back up. Just be careful of China. Let's skip this one altogether. We've already missed the put side, so you don't want to sell the put side here. And the call side, we need to have a movement up to like 25 or so to sell the call side. You sell sell the call side if you got up to 25. You'll have your 200-day moving down in that time period. And you've got some resistance back here from October of 23. Let's look at the K-Web. It's the Chinese internet stocks like Alibaba, JD, all that. Same story. You can't sell the put side here because you've already missed the move. And the call side, you would need a stronger rally to the upside before you sell the call side, okay? So it's kind of just hanging out in no man's land without any clear direction. So we'll skip this one right away. Here's a therapeutics company. Down today, big. Earnings are on March 15th. Maintained at 40. This was an earnings report? No. No news. I don't know what the news is. Maybe they had some kind of trial data go wrong. So gap down. Let's look at the put side here. The 15 is too close to sell, and so is the 12.5. We need more strikes farther out to sell. All right, pass on this one. Let's do some follow-ups from last week. Let's look at UPS first. Waiting for UPS to get to 125. Looks like it's catching a great bounce today. I think we're going to take UPS off the list. We wanted UPS to get down to 125 where all the support was, but it has this ascending trend line here, and it's already bounced. So, looks like you would have wanted to sell your puts yesterday. We missed this one. I'm going to take it off the list and stop following up. Any downgrades or anything? Today is the 6th. We got an upgrade today. UBS upgrades UPS to buy. So that's what it was. So the bottom is in. Now that the post-earnings move has been made, let's just explain this one. So post-earnings move, gap down and sell off for, 5 days in a row here. We were waiting for downgrades that never happened. We actually got an upgrade today on UPS. So gapped up and is rallying, almost up 4%. It's too late now to sell the put side. Interesting. All right, next up, Amazon. We're looking for, 175? Post earnings gap up. Waiting for it to get to 175, which is right about here. But it's not moving fast enough. So that means it shows an IV rank of 0. Volatility is cooling off here a bit. We'll take Amazon off the list. Okay, let's move on. ARC, follow up from yesterday. Waiting for it to get down to 41, but same thing. It's rallying today. 41's down here. We're going to have to wait. This movement down is taking some time. Nothing to do yet here. Okay? Alcoa. Looking for 25 on Alcoa. Looks like it bounced already. Had a big down day yesterday. It was down, 8% or something? Was having a better day today. Doesn't mean it's going to continue up. It could continue down over the next couple days. If it does get down to 25, which is right about here, we'll begin the idea of selling puts on Alcoa. Not yet, though. Same thing. Overall, downward movement. So that wouldn't mean you want to sell the call side. If you did want to sell the put side, it's got to have a breakdown below 23. Maybe say down to, I don't know, 22.50 and look for a bounce at 22.50. Okay? So don't want to jump the gun on Alcoa. Next up, the KRE. Still down again. Like we said yesterday, could be getting some support from back here in March of 23. And bouncing. If not, good support at 45.50. So hang tight on the KRE. We'll wait for more news to develop in the banking sector. Okay? And finally, Intel. Same thing. Slow movement downward. Any downgrades yet? Nothing. So we're more than a week after earnings. There have been no downgrades on Intel, no price target adjustments, nothing. It could catch a bounce here at 41 or so from back here in July. but it's not even there yet. Still shows some heightened volatility after earnings. IV rank at 23, maybe. Put side. If you sold at 38, this still is fairly priced. All right. Let's move on. No move yet here. All right, let's go to our IV rank scanner, and we will sort by volume. Something is going on with my internet today. We are getting a lot of rain. Whenever it rains here in California, things go wonko. Oh boy. All right, maybe we're not going to get any web pages loading. I don't know what's going on. Actually, maybe we'll just do a short day today then, because of the rain. Good news is we have our USO put now back making money. Let's take a look at it really quick. USO. We opened our short put back on the 2nd. Sold a put, not a put spread, just a put. And it's already rallying, bouncing off here. Trying to get to 35. Bids at 40. If oil continues to rally today, this may close today. It's undergoing some systems some maintenance. Be patient. You're ruining the show. Okay, well, we've got another IV rank scanner here on E-Trade. So we'll go to volatility. And we will do the 90-day. Run this one. Looks like our IV rank scanner is calling out sick today. That's fine. All right, so we got Chipotle. That's too high. That's a $2,000 stock. It'll make things very illiquid. NVIDIA. Let's take a look at NVIDIA today. Had the big rally up. Earnings are on the 21st, so we're too close to earnings for NVIDIA. We'll have to wait till after earnings. I don't know this one. Let's take a look at Etsy, ETSY. Their earnings are on the 28th, so we're about 3 weeks away or so. Let's take a look at the chart. Not the best looking chart here, although it could be catching some sort of bottom here around 60, I don't know, let's just say between 60 and 65. But we are a little close to earnings. We got volatility spiking up here. An IV rank of 124. On the put side, you'd have to sell 60. And definitely, these are expensive puts. But I think too close to earnings. Don't want to mess with it. Twilio. Let's take a look. TWLO. These are mad expensive. Look at this. The 5750 pays you $104. That's interesting. We might have earnings coming up. That's why earnings are on the 14th, so about a week and a half away. That's why these are expensive, okay? Moving on. Too close to earnings. Advanced Auto Parts, VRT. Let's take a look at a couple of these. AAP and Carvana. Advanced Auto Parts is on the 28th. Too close to earnings. Let's take a look at VRT. Their earnings are on the 21st. Too close. What was the other one? Carvana, CVNA. These all have earnings coming up. If we had this one going, we could actually see when earnings are. So a lot of these on the E-Trade list don't show you when earnings are. That's why they're all so expensive right now. Capri. Roblox. I think Roblox has earnings coming up. RBLX. Their earnings are on the 7th. That is tomorrow before the open. So we'll follow up with Roblox tomorrow morning. Very cool. We got a junior uranium miners ETF. Let's take a look at JD and Snapchat. JD's earnings are about a month away. And this is up big because of the China announcement overnight. IV rank of 107. And this is going to start to price in some earnings volatility. Big downward movement. So even though it is getting a bounce today, same thing like the FXI and the other Chinese, the KWeb. There's no clear movement. It does have the long-term downward move, but it is up today. We want it to continue to move up to, say, 25 or so, even up to 27.50 to sell the call side. We're a little early on this one. Don't want to jump the gun. Okay. Snapchat, SNAP. Earnings are today after the close. That's why they're on this list. Snapchat, yin. Some of these triple levered ETFs are a little wonko. Bolero. Let's take a look at Bolero and Lyft. Thought Bolero already had their earnings come out yesterday. Correct. Good. Here's the chart. Big gap up after earnings. This one's probably too illiquid to trade. Let's take a look. Yeah. Call side, you have to sell the 17.5 and you got a 30-cent spread here. Okay. Let's do one more and then we'll call it for today just because of some annoying internet issues. California, when it comes to utilities, can't handle extreme weathers very well. So things go wonko when it's very hot or when it rains or the sun doesn't shine. Lyft, and then we'll call it LYFT. Up 6%. Is this post earnings? No. Earnings are the 13th after the close, so we're about a week and a half away. A little too close to do anything here. But let's take a look. Yeah, good upward movement today. On the put side. If you sold the 10, you get 23 bucks. That's not bad. We do have this big spike up at February expiration because of the earnings report, but across the curve you have heightened implied volatility, and that makes sense. Anything else? We'll do a half day today. We'll go out and celebrate Taco Tuesday, okay? All right. Even though still a good day, we had our Google short put fill, made some money there. Fast, easy trade. That's what I like, getting in and out. These ones that hang out for weeks and months at a time just annoy the hell out of me, but it's part of the game. You have to deal with it. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Tune in every morning, 7:15 a.m. on the West Coast and 10:15 a.m. on the East Coast. We go live every morning trading options. Also tell your friends who are trading to tune in every morning as well. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you all so much for the questions and the comments and the donations and supporting this channel. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.